Hello, hi everyone. Welcome to RC Birla's first ever talk show ever. I am Rotrakta Dushan Nemkar, Sergeant Arms of Rotrak Club of BK Birla College for the year 23-24, welcoming you all to our very first talk show. I hope कि सब लोग for the last few days have been always noticing that one story that has been always popping up on this page, and that has been the hashtag I or AI campaign. And we have got a very huge and tremendous response from each and every one of you. And of course, this campaign was very good, and we definitely saw many new things. We got to learn many new things about AI. And in this phase two, we are here right now to discuss and to have a very intellectual conversation about what AI is and what it can get developed into. So, for this very first talk show that has been hosted by Asif Birla, we have a very special guest which I would like to introduce beforehand to all the audience that is present here. His name is Rutractus Maran Umadi Shetty. He has completed his bachelor's of engineering in computer engineering. He's currently working as a user interface and user experience designer for DSP Mutual Fund. He has also done very freelancing projects as a product developer and a designer. And talking about his Rotrack journey, he began his Rotrack journey in the year 2021 as a creative director. He went on to becoming nominated as the best Digicom director in the same year. In the Vamos year, he has served district as a district joint graphics director, and in current Live to Give year, he is serving the district as a district technology director. So before we begin our talk show, I would really like to welcome Rotractus Smaran Umadi Shetty for this talk show. So let's add him up.
Audible. Hello, hi, and welcome to RC Birla's talk show. And on behalf of RC Birla, firstly, let me give you a very warm welcome to this talk show. And as when I was reading your introduction, I'm feeling very glad to have you on this talk show. So, yeah, welcome.
Sorry, I guess there was some network issue. Thank you
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much, first of all, for having me for this session. Also, thank you so much for such a wonderful introduction from your side. And yeah, looking forward for a really nice talk show and informative sessions that we want to have today.
Yeah, definitely. I'm actually being like a very kind of, you can say, a childish person right now because AI has been a dream for me. Like since when I was a kid, AI has been very fascinating to me. And being as a kid, we have always watched those movies like Transformers, Iron Man to begin with, and that kind of always generated that dreaming kind of thing. Ki, ha, bhai, AI is like something a very huge thing that has been coming. So I'm very excited to have this conversation. So, firstly, I would like
Yes.
to ask you this one thing to begin with the podcast. You know, when I was a kid, to begin with now, like when I'm studying all those management degrees and all, there's this one thing which has been consecutively coming up in front of me, and that has been key. Technology is the new sunrise sector of the world. Now we have seen many advancements in technology, phones and all. Now there's this Google AI phone which edits your pictures and everything. I just wanted to ask you this key in your opinion, what do you think the tech industry or the IT industry has been developing so far? And what would it be in like 10 years, we can say?
Yes. So begin with again, same as you. I was also right from my childhood a very big tech enthusiast, and that what exactly led me to pursue my career into computer engineering and work in this particular field. And so yeah, we share a very similar interest. And moving forward with the questions that you have asked about how it's gonna develop and how it's gonna move with the next decade. So basically, if you have seen the previous decade, right from 2000s to this particular time, we have seen a very we have seen a very constant growth of technology. But right from the last decade and this decade, there has been a drastic changes in the field of
Hmm.
computer science and all this
Hmm.
deep learning, machine learning, and AI usually evolving and
Yeah.
creating that revolution that we used to see, somewhat we used to relate in our science
Hmm.
fiction movies. So talking about this upcoming tenure or over this decade, it's gonna be like a rapid evolution of technology. and there's a lot of scope of advancement, and in the field of AI, in the field of deep learning, and whether it's about analyzing analyzing the data that we have and creating a much more efficient systems that will make our work more faster and somehow increase our productivity, you can say. and
Mhm.
and in this particular field, AI will play a very pivotal role, to be very honest. And it will also side by side affect the sectors of healthcare, finance, and all other sectors.
Mhm.
It's gonna boost the productivity and it's gonna make a new revolution that's gonna happen, that are maybe are we have never seen something like that. Such kind of things may happen. You may like right now, if you see last year itself, the chat GPT and all this AI
Mhm.
softwares came up, and it was suddenly a boom, and a lot of people started using that. And a lot of people, those who don't know, those for let's take an example, like if anyone wants to start their own entrepreneurship development right now
Mhm.
in the market, we have so many fields, so many websites, or so many AI softwares that with just minimal amount, or even for free, you can start your own business. Or else if you want to take about music, or else if you want to take about there is this AI called as Midjourney. I guess you may have heard about this.
Yeah, yeah.
So what Midjourney does is you just have to write the text. You just have to describe what exactly that you want in here, and it will generate exactly what you want, whatever you visualize and write it down there. It will generate the 3D, or a graphic element of that
Yeah.
particular prompt.
Wow.
So you can imagine, right? Like if a design graduate had to work on this, it's gonna take him like anywhere around 3 days to a week to develop a very high fidelity and precise graphic. But right now, this software does this in a matter of seconds. Okay, so
Damn.
you can imagine like where the possibility is very vast. You can just the limit is about your own brain capacity, to be very honest. There are many such tools. Even if you talk about Chat GPT, it has
Yeah.
drastically changed our way of writing. And anything that you want to ask, or anything
Yeah.
you want to draft an email, whatever it is, it has drastically changed
Mhm.
our abilities to work faster and create a more productive content. So yeah, it is all about this. And if apart from this,
Yeah.
like there is another thing called as this quantum computing that is still in its infinite.
Okay.
It is still very infant at this time, but it is basically about computational power. So right
Uh-huh.
now, the computational power that we have, and if we combine, and if we are able to create this quantum
Mhm.
computing along with, and we are able to, merge artificial intelligence to it, it's a game over thing, to be very honest. Like there are no limits to what we can achieve, and what we can do. So yeah, this is like this upcoming decade is worth a watch, because uh, it's gonna take humans
Gonna
to
explode with AI and technology.
yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
like this is the age of
Uh-huh.
AI, to be very honest, this
And
decade itself.
so, Smaran, actually, as you said, we can't actually predict what this technology and AI thing has for us in the upcoming future. And as you said, the AI has been rapidly revolutionizing itself in this decade and overall the past decades. You know, as a child, I've always had that dream of future where there would be flying cars and everything. You think that's possible somewhere? This might be a kid in me asking that question to you, but that's the future we have seen where that's the actual visualization of AI for us. So that is why I want to ask this case, that thing any possible in this decade or
To be very
anything near to that?
I guess we are very near to it. If you know about this Tesla, they have this autopilot
Mhm.
system integrated into their automobiles. So right now, we are somewhere, we are not very far, but we are also not very near to it. But I guess with the help of technology, the way the technology is rapidly improving itself, and with an AI, we may be able to, have again, autopilot
Mhm.
aeroplanes are already in existence, and we have
Yeah.
our, automobiles that are
Mhm.
currently running through, in foreign, to be very precise. But yeah, we aren't that much far into having this, and not just flying cars. You can even, I guess there already exist certain devices that helps you levitate, like this Iron Man. They
Uh,
have this, yeah, something like that. But it is
yeah,
not
like
that much.
the Jarvis suit, kind of like an Iron Man suit, you can say, in a zero gravity thing.
Mm, yeah, we are somewhere near it, but again, this
Uh-huh.
is like still a thing that, there is still a lot of things that needs to be coming up in that industry. But yeah, in the sectors of automobile and mechanical engineering, with the help of AI, a lot of things are coming up. And yeah, maybe in near future we can, have something really interesting that just comes up and boom, like just becomes a topic of the kind of
Yeah,
the
the
year.
headline of the
Yeah,
newspapers.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So actually, if we keep talking about the future, there are many more questions that I want to ask. And for that, I would definitely hit up you on the personal account. But let's move to the next question because I wanted to answer this elephant in the room. And that is my main question to you because even our viewers want to know what actually artificial intelligence is, what AI is, what AGI is, what ASI is, and what it is. Like, what's your definition for AI?
Sure. So basically, to put it in a very simple words, AI is just a replication of how our brain works. Okay. So
Mhm.
when AI was in, very early stages, so basically how it is, right? Our brain is made up of very complex, our brain is just,
Mhm.
the system of nerves. So what AI is, it's just, AI is an application of how our brain works, to be very,
Mhm.
in a very simplistic. So, if you want to do a certain action, if you want to do certain task or anything like that.
Mhm.
So how it happens is the brain generates a certain system of nerves, and it is then directed to the particular organ, and then it goes on and do that things and all. So AI is a replication of that itself. So what we do, we put in a lot of data. So if
Mhm.
we take an example of just the Chat GPT, the company that made it, its name is I guess It is OpenAI. So what they did
OpenAI.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, OpenAI. So they were working like right now. If you see, it just came up in last year, but they were actually working from 2017 and 18. So for 4 years, they just dumped a lot of raw data into into the systems, and they gained. To be
Yeah.
honest, they were very fortunate, I would say, or even to be honest, not just fortunate, they were also very determined into this, and they pulled
Mhm.
up really good investors. Like I guess Elon Musk was also a part of his.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, yeah. So they had a lot of investment, and they used terabytes of data, like which was openly available on our web, and they throwed it into it, and then they
Mhm.
developed systems. So basically, they developed how things work. They tried to,
Yeah.
maintain, they tried to
Yeah.
develop, they tried to replicate our nervous system, and, they also made it efficient so that after each and every, after each and every question and answer sessions, and after
Mhm.
the system learns itself. So
Yeah.
basically, if you take, basically AI is like a replication of a brain that learns
Mhm.
itself with every experience. So that is how our human brains work,
Yeah.
right? So if we want to learn something, we make a lot of mistakes, and with mistakes we learn, and then we become like, after a lot of mistakes, after a lot of trying, we become like a master of it, something like that. So what happens
Mhm.
is when we develop that skill, the certain nerve systems are developed in our brain. Similarly, it goes on like in AI itself. It learns itself, and it creates that systems within itself so that it can take decisions and answer your questions, whatever you have, like whatever you want to ask about writing skills or anything, to be very honest. So it is how it works. So yeah, very simply, it is just a replication of the human brain. And you talked about ASI and AGI.
Easier.
So yeah, talking about this, artificial intelligence is right now being divided into two parts basically. One is artificial general intelligence, and next we
Mm-hmm.
have artificial super intelligence, which is
Super
ASI.
intelligence.
Yeah. So talking about artificial general intelligence, it is, it is like designed, it is like you want to reach up to a level of, you know, a base, a normal human being.
Mhm.
To make it to you, so taking an example, let's take an example of a boy right from his
Okay.
birth till his, PhD.
Teenage.
PhD.
Okay. PhD.
Yes. So if you
Mm-hmm.
compare ASI and AGI with this learning process,
Mm-hmm.
AGI stops at undergraduate level. So if you take an example of ChatGPT, right now it's
Yeah.
ChatGPT is an AGI.
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT can also write code to be I guess many of you may have know this. It can also write programming codes,
Mm-hmm.
but it cannot write a very efficient code as compared to as compared to a human being. So right
Mm-hmm.
now you can say it is why it is an easier because it is right now at a level of an undergraduate student, a very bright undergraduate student. It can at utne level tak ka he can write down the code, and that
Mm-hmm.
to exclude the human errors. Okay, we what happens with humans generally is they use a lot of overthinking and all those things to and
Emotions.
sometimes we get disturbed. Yeah, you can call emotions, or you can call about doubts, or if it will work or not, blah blah blah, and all those. So our computation, we have a computational limit to a particular problem. But when it comes to machines and computers, they do not have that limits. We have right now we have like very much high computational power, computers that can do a lot of maths
Super
in the background
intelligence.
and give you like answers like in seconds. So this way it is very useful in generating a very a good amount of code that is like at a very this level at a person who
Huh.
is a very bright undergrad. But when we talk about ASI, it is something it is about beyond PhD and even beyond. So AGI only can make things that is available. Okay, something that is available in the web,
Okay.
or something that someone has written, or someone it can find something about web. But when it's come to ASI, what a PhD student or a PhD graduate can do his own research and can
Mm-hmm.
develop new things, and a lot of things can happen. So an artificial super intelligence, what it is like, it will be able to process the data that is existing, do the research, and develop something new. So that is something an
That's shocking.
artificial, yeah, that is something artificial super intelligence can do. The similar, like this in Marvel we have Jarvis,
Yeah.
not Jarvis, to
Yeah.
be very honest. You can compare it with Ultron, to be very honest.
Yeah.
Ultron. So what happened is they dumped in a lot of data into it, and
Mm-hmm.
they evolved, they trained, and they made the system that was supposed to be better than all of them combined. That was
Mm-hmm.
actually the motive, right? Beyond
Yeah.
like building Ultron. But
Yeah.
what happened is after gaining so much experience, it started to think about itself. It started to process that information and generate results on its own, and it came up with its own philosophy. So this is like the scope of the artificial super
ASI.
intelligence.
Yeah.
maybe like you may have seen a lot of tech enthusiasts in some other podcast, talk AI will take over
Mhm.
the world and all. This is all they talk about when they
Yeah,
usually
exactly.
speculate. Yeah, when we reach up to ASI level, they will be, able to think about their own, and then, they will just make it.
Yeah.
It is like a doomsday or something like that. But yeah, we are very far, to be honest, from that because yeah, one more main difference that I wanted to say is
Yeah.
about AGI and OSAR. There is this thing called as paperclip theory. Okay,
Okay, I've
so how it
heard
is?
about this theory, but I don't know
Yeah,
exactly what it is. I've just heard that because it's a very famous kind of theory, I guess.
yes. So it is like a very, one of the renowned in the terms of AI, very renowned theory. So what
Mhm.
happens is, so if you direct an AI to, make a paperclip is
Mhm.
like you can or make some shape or something, generate a shape. So what it will do is it will first take up all the papers or all the raw materials into it and
Mhm.
generate that shape. But once that raw material gets over, it will take anything that is available. Uh, it won't think twice before cutting a tree, or
Twice,
it
okay.
won't before even killing a human, because it has only one job. Only one thing is instructed to it, that you need to make paper clips. That's it. It doesn't know emotions. It doesn't know, that much of thinking ability. It doesn't have that much of
Mhm.
information that, it can process and, get to know, yeah, this is right or this is wrong. So, yeah, ASI will be able to do that. But again, it will,
Exactly.
uh, it will be
Yes.
depending on how
Yeah.
you think.
And we are, as you said,
Yes.
that we are still very far away from that time comes. And while you were saying that, there was this very good question that was asked by someone in the chats, and
Okay.
it was, I guess, from Soham. He had a question for you, and that was, you said कि ChatGPT may not be able to create that kind of level of codes, but what if a human trains it to do and write that kind of codes? Is that possible?
Yes. Yes. Exactly. It is
Okay,
possible.
that's
So
scary.
right now, I guess there are certain AIs. I don't exactly know them. There is this AI called as Black Box. So it is
Mhm.
much more efficient than ChatGPT. And there are again people are a lot of such companies are trying to develop certain artificial intelligence that exceeds the current one. So basically, the main idea behind is, to increase productivity and again to, reduce some errors basically. Yeah, as Pranjal is saying, Copilot in the chat. So Copilot is also one of the very best examples. So so there is this thing called as GitHub. It is like a
Uh-huh.
community management
Uh-huh.
software, or, you can put in your all your data, codes and all. So it has this feature called as Copilot. So what it does
Uh-huh.
is, so you have to enable Copilot on your editor, whatever code editor you are using, and once you write the code, after certain lines of code, it will predict the next few lines. So
Yeah.
there exists certain such systems right now, but again, when it comes to very complex systems, take Pranali for an example.
Uh-huh.
ChatGPT cannot make Pranali or our Pranali software right from the scratch.
Scratch.
So yeah, so it is very difficult right now, but yeah, maybe in future we may be able to just writing prompts and it is generating full hardcore software to us. So possible.
Yeah. Actually, adding on to your example, there has been like this recent updates in Adobe maybe. They have this feature where you could just write prompts and it would give you the whole animations and all kind of stuff. This is a recent update which have been added to Adobe. I'm not
Yes,
sure if everyone is aware about that, but is that a very good example of what you're trying to say?
yes. So I myself use Adobe. I have
Uh-huh.
uh, so I've recently bought Adobe subscription. Back then I was using some crack software from torrents and all.
Thanks, software.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So I recently brought the Adobe subscription, and
Mhm.
it was like I really felt it was like my best investment until now. I usually felt that it is very expensive, and I may not be using it much and all those things. But trust me, it's like the best investment I've got. So there is similar to Midjourney, it has its own software called as Adobe Express. So
Uh-huh.
there, similar to Midjourney, you can write your prompt, and within seconds it will generate a graphic for you. Same goes for
Damn.
Photoshop. Photoshop, they have enabled, this AI feature for the edit. So you can, select certain elements, certain area in the photo, and then write a prompt to it. So, for example, if you want to change a beach view into uh, into something forest with ocean view, you can easily do that.
Ocean View.
You can just, yeah,
Damn.
you can just select that sand area and write that I want a forest or something like that
You
here,
replace it
and it
with,
will generate.
yeah.
And trust me, that just a minute.
Yeah, yeah, you're back.
Am I audible? Hello, hello, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
You're audible now.
So yeah, talking about about the Photoshop. And firstly, I thought it may not be able to, it may not give us that finishing product. But I was very surprised. It literally.
Yeah, I guess we lost Maran for some network connectivity. We'll just wait for him to join back. And till he joins back, I hope each and every one of you are enjoying this talk show right now. And it's been very interesting so far. And I have been trying to learn many new things about AI. And of course, it has been very fascinating to me. And as I'm having this conversation with Smaran, it's opening my eyes to this thing. Ki AI is damn scary, dude. I don't know what the future holds with AI in the box for us, but let's have Smaran back in chat and wait for him, and we'll get to know more things about that.
Am I audible now?
I guess he'll be back. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell me where I lost? I guess I was speaking and it just got
Huh.
disconnected.
You were just speaking about this interesting fact that you learned about Photoshop. Hello, Smaran.
Hello, 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 hello.
Yeah, yeah. Am I audible to you, Smaran?
Yeah, yeah, you're audible. Am I audible to you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was just saying ki you
So
were talking about this very interesting feature.
yeah, that is what I was telling. So Photoshop, like I usually assume that it may not give me, that much of what do you say, finished product, but it ended up giving me like, very high quality product, and it was like, damn, now you cannot even distinguish between if it is a real or an AI generated
Real or
image.
an
So
yeah, yeah,
we came very far in this, developing graphics in particular through AI. So yeah, this is like this was one of the best that I had personally used.
yeah. So actually, when you lost the network connectivity issue, I was like talking with the audience and I was saying to them that the same thing that as wide this AI topic is and as fascinating it is now, it is as scary as that, dude. Like we
Exactly.
don't know what the future is going to be with AI in the box. And my next question for you exactly is based on that. Like, I wanted to ask you for this so long. What exactly is singularity? I've been hearing this for a long time, and there's this movie, a South Indian movie called Robot, which has been, all over my mind. Ki there might come a robot in few days and he'll just destroy the whole world, take over the world. So, what exactly is this singularity? And, little bit of dark side of AI.
Yeah. As you mentioned about this Robo movie, right?
Yeah.
As I told about, example about while I was giving a example about Ultron, this
Yeah.
was very similar, right? It
Mhm.
developed, super intelligence, and it
Uh-huh.
made a decision that that particular heroine was his, and he was the
Yeah.
one, who should have, and he went on a full-fledged war against the entire humanity and all those things. So. Yeah,
Yeah.
singularity is something to similar to that only. So basically, what may happen, once the super intelligence develops, once it reaches its peak, so it
Yeah.
will be only thinking about itself, because at the end of the day, what human brain is developed or evolved into such a thing that it always thinks about himself first. It will always think about his survival first, and then it will think about what can be done about others and all those
Yeah.
things. So thinking about this, in a very simple terms, it will prioritize itself rather than what it was programmed to be. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, it will make decisions. It will,
Uh-huh.
in his mind, in his program system, it will think what he has done is like the best version. But
Mhm.
again, it may or may not benefit humans if you look at it.
Yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
like, and another one thing demerit that I wanted to
Mhm.
highlight in AI. So as we know, right, there is a lot of data is being fed to this systems. Literally, like gigabytes and terabytes of data are being fed
Mhm.
to to train these systems. So most of this information may or may not be public information. Some of them
Okay.
comes up from. Uh, so
Rumors and
there can be a
everything.
huge issue. Yeah, no, not just that, but I was talking about the internal, data
Okay. Yeah.
about Facebook. Let's take an example
Okay.
of Facebook and
Mhm.
Instagram, and this private data. These companies do, assure us that your data is being kept at,
Kept
it is not being used
private,
and all those stuff.
secure.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they usually use it for, for many things they use it. Like, the best example that, when you search for any particular shoe or clothing, and immediately
Yeah.
after three or four scrolls, some ad comes up about
Yeah. That's
that particular
actually
product.
scary. Even on Instagram Reels, that's the best example. Actually, I can
Yeah,
talk about that.
yeah.
You feel
Now just
depressed and you get
imagine
all these
this.
depressing reels on Instagram.
Yeah, now just imagine this at a scale of terabytes of data in an AI. And if this data goes out to any,
Yeah.
uh, unauthorized person, he may use it for
Yeah.
literally doing anything. So privacy is one
Yeah.
of the concerns that can happen. And yeah, cyber attacks and all may follow through that. Mm, Apart from that,
Okay.
we talked about singularity itself. So yeah, that is one thing that may
Yeah. Yeah. That
be a
covers it
big
up.
problem. Yes.
So I had this very personal question to ask to you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're aware about this incident or not, but recently there's this humanoid robot called Sophia. Are you aware about that? So in a talk show, she jokingly said that she might, go on to eradicate the whole mankind from the world, kill the whole mankind from the world. So uh, again, I would like to actually give a disclaimer to all our audiences. It was what she said in a joking manner, and that was not actually a fact. You can go up to Google and search about it. But at the same time, is it something which is possible? Because I'm really scared about that AI taking over the world.
Yeah, it is definitely possible, but again, as we talked about it, right? So we aren't that much into the future, and we aren't that
Yeah,
much into the period of time. We can say that we have such super intelligence robots that we have that can take over our world. But yeah, there is definitely a possibility, and we never know. We may think right now, we may think. yeah, it is not possible right now and all those things. But
Yeah.
to be honest, before ChatGPT came up, we never knew something at that caliber is possible in any time right now. So
Yeah.
we never know. Maybe some mad scientist in some remote island is
Yeah,
doing some crazy
definitely.
experiment. Yeah, to make something.
Yeah.
So yeah, possibility is there, and we cannot
Mhm.
deny that possibility.
And there's this recent concern that has been growing about everyone about AI is that AI is taking over jobs. All this AI, artificial intelligence bots like ChatGPT and everything. There's this rumor. I don't know. I'm not very sure about it, but there are many Indian multinational companies that have laid off employees just because they have been using artificial intelligence. So, what's your take on that?
Uh, Talking about jobs, right? So if you look back in early 80s when computers
Mhm.
were very new. So
Yeah.
that time, I don't know if you guys know about it or not. That time when computers were first introduced, they usually thought, there were protests against it. They thought
Yeah.
it will take out our jobs. Because basically,
Yeah.
the accounts and all those things were done
Uh-huh.
manually. And with the computer, we can just, it is very simple to maintain a database and, have all those data stored in like it is a very fine system as compared to the file system that we have back then. So people protested and people thought it would take out our jobs and all those things, blah, blah, blah. But same goes with the AI as well. It is not that easy that it would take out your job in a, that just like that. Firstly, you need to be very, I would like to say that if you are really skilled, it won't take out your jobs in any time soon because I use AI in my day-to-day life, and a
Yeah.
lot of my colleagues, to be honest, they use AI into their day-to-day lives. They do get results, but again, they are not
Yeah.
up to that mark as I told earlier in this podcast. So there is a chance, it is always a boost to your productivity, into increasing your
Yeah.
productivity on how, you can improve your quality of work and the quality of your product or whatever you're creating or whatever developing. It is very useful in that, but it may not be able to take out your jobs in any time soon. Uh, because
Okay.
right now there's a lot of customizations required. You may have even gone through this, lot of memes about
Yeah,
design and all.
exactly.
So yeah, so the client gives like 100 changes. AI won't be able to,
Yeah.
to be honest, even a human cannot at times understand what the the सामने वाला person is trying to say. So a
What his
computer
needs
to
are actually.
understand, yeah, a computer for it to
Yeah.
understand is like right now it is not in any time close to it. So it is it may
Yeah.
not be able to take out jobs, but yeah, it will be definitely. It is, on my opinion, it should be allowed that you should be allowed to use AI into your day-to-day lives or even in your jobs because
Mhm.
if you use it right, it's gonna boost your productivity and
Yeah.
it is beneficial for both the organization that you're working and for yourself as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and as you correctly said, there's this one thing which I've read somewhere, and it said ki if you're not using AI, you're in danger. But if you're using AI, you might not be in danger because even if you're skilled, you are using it and you are way ahead from those people who haven't been using AI and have been with zero knowledge of what exactly is. And there's this thing, companies like Tesla and all of this have been commercializing the use of artificial intelligence. Like they have been creating the businesses, startups, and many other tech companies have invested heavily in artificial intelligence. And I wanted to ask you this question, ki, what's exactly the future of AI and all this business perspectives? Like, is it the future? Like, is it the investment you would make?
Yes, very interesting question, I would say. But yeah, as I mentioned
Yeah.
right in the start of this,
Yeah.
podcast, that just with, just you alone can start an entire business just through the help of AIs. Okay.
Yeah.
So right now we are at that level. So I don't exactly know about the name of this AI. It generates and it's a paid AI. Firstly, it's not for free.
Okay.
So it will. So you have to just describe your business and what you're gonna sell or what you're gonna
Yeah.
do in your business, and it will generate an entire marketing plan for you. Okay, and
Huh.
these are not just, not just some random day-to-day marketing strategies. These are specific to your particular product that you're gonna sell. The more details you
Yeah.
fill in, the more customized it's gonna give you the output. So there are many such AIs, you know, with the help of which, I have known, not particular I've known, but I've seen a lot of people on online that they claim that they have made millions, they have made billions
Yeah.
just through using this, hell lot of softwares that are around and
Uh-huh.
make money. But yeah, this is possible. This is possible because at the end of the day, you need to be determined into using it, right? If you are using it if you're smartly using it, and if you are
Yeah.
taking the results and smartly implementing those results, then definitely it is like, a boost to whatever you do. Not just for, if you're doing a job or if you're
Mhm.
freelancing or anything, it is definitely a boost. And again, as said, Tesla or,
Yeah.
this Elon Musk and Bill Gates
Yeah.
and
Even Tata with
a lot of
Tata right now.
CEOs are, yeah, right. Recently, yeah, good example.
Yeah.
Recently, even Ratan Tata have, himself has also invested a huge amount into this because,
Mhm.
we get everything predefined, right? We just have to define and we get a very proper solution without human error. Again, human error usually plays a lot of, makes or breaks the business
Mhm.
sometimes. But if you can somehow reduce this human error and you can just straightforward go with the solution, and if a system can do that, then it is like, it
Yeah.
is just like a very big headache that that team management
Yeah.
and make them work and make them understand that a lot of things
Mhm.
solves out. So yeah, definitely
Mhm.
this can be a book. Again, one more thing. So I just came to this. So the place where I work, right, this is a DSP mutual fund. So they are
Yeah.
a mutual funds company. So they are really good. They have been in the industry from like 80s,
Mhm.
1800. So it is like 150-year-old company. So they have really good funds to them. So what they have developed is there is this software, the internal software that is available to all their customers or someone who has newly
Mhm.
joined, who is looking for investment, in mutual funds. So this tool is called as Sarthi. So what it does
Okay.
is it asks questions regarding your investments, whether you are a beginner, whether you know what it the so there are like 10 to 15 questions in this system, and through that
Yeah.
questions, it tries to analyze your, the risk capability that you have,
Okay.
the level that you stand at, the amount of money that you can lose,
Yeah.
or
Mhm.
what is your trading psychology basically, and then it will
Yeah.
predict you, this the mutual funds or the schemes that they have,
Okay.
which you can invest and which will be suitable for your
Yeah. Yeah.
according to your trading mindset. So yeah, these kind of systems are being used to
Uh-huh.
to uplift their business and
Yeah.
you know basically boost their productivity and
Yeah.
create new market and all this stuff. Yeah. So
Yeah.
definitely,
So maybe
there is
I
a big
guess
scope to this. Yeah.
we can say that artificial intelligence is a boom or a curse. It's definitely a debatable thing, but for businesses, it's definitely a boon. We can say to at
Yes.
least to reach a certain level. Yeah.
Yes,
So I had
definitely.
this very quick question from Pranjal in chat. Is asking you that why do you think AI took up creative jobs first instead of manual labor, as always predicted?
Okay, so I would like to. I'm not I do not agree with Pranjal a lot because in this particularly,
Okay.
basically because if you see right now,
Mhm.
creative jobs are any which ways there. If you look into the main
Yeah.
creativity, right? If you are gonna ask an AI to make an art,
Mhm.
okay, no matter how beautiful it's gonna make it, but a real artist who paints on that canvas and that it is not able to give that feel as of now. So people
Yeah.
again, this is something that I work on. So there is this thing called as user experience. So how
Yeah.
user
Yeah.
experiences while using your product. So basically why Apple phones are so much into people are so much into buying Apple is not just about the status that it has, but also the feel that it gives while using that
Mhm.
particular product. So same goes with artists and the field of art as well. No matter
Yeah.
how good, how beautiful the product may be, but again, while making that painting on that canvas or the customizations that you do digitally, if it is a digital product, that is right now it is not that
Yeah.
accurate in the current AI.
Mhm.
So it is not taking, I would say, like I have particularly haven't seen, AI taking up a lot of creative jobs. Yeah, basic
Creative
level,
jobs.
just to make just story templates and all those small things have, I would say they may have affected, but not the major designing industry haven't been too much affected into this.
Yeah. So, actually, as you said, actually, I want to ask you this. Like, this is my next and very interesting question for you, and I guess our whole audience has been waiting for it. So, the name of this campaign is hashtag I or AI, and that's
Yes.
my next question to you. Humans or AI? What's your point of view? Who's gonna win this
Uh,
war?
Sorry, who's gonna?
Win this war?
So
Humans or
firstly,
AI?
I would say that, yeah, firstly, I would say, so to be very specific, it's just humans as of now. I am really
Okay.
hoping that way. So
Yeah,
really
me too.
hoping not some mad scientist on some remote island is
Yeah.
developing something. Yeah, until and unless it is definitely it is definitely humans through a
Uh-huh.
huge margin because
Mhm.
no matter how powerful right now AI is, so at the end of the day,
Mhm.
humans only created it, right? It may
Yeah.
sound very cliche kind of a thing. It may not sound logically, but at the end of the day, it is a replication of our brain. So if there comes out a
So,
full-fledged war against human and AI, I guess somehow we will be able to detect a solution to win that war because
yeah.
at the end of the day, there is always someone who is intelligent and you. So or else maybe
Yeah.
we will evolve with time, so that we
Mhm.
can keep AI at an edge, I would say. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it is
Definitely.
always humans for me at this particular moment
Mhm.
of time. Uh, until
Yeah.
unless, yeah, any crazy stuff happens.
Yeah. Definitely. And even with your fingers crossed, humans are going to win this race. So let's hope for whatever
Yes,
the best it is.
yes,
And
yes.
yeah. So moving forward, I would like to ask all our audience and viewers to please mention us in all your posts, stories, and spam us with the hashtag I or AI and add the rate RC Birla everywhere. We will always be ready to answer all your questions. You can also mention who's going to win this war, humans or AI, according to you, and mention it there. And Smaran, this talk show and this conversation with you, it has been really eye-opening and scary at many points. I'm not going to lie about that. You have really showed me, a very different kind of perspective about AI. And, this was an opportunity for me to actually learn a lot of about AI. I mean, I was on a very, being a, normal, average kind of human, I've been on a very blind-sided area of about what AI actually is and what it can achieve in this upcoming years. And from being that kid to having a dream of watching all this Udne wala cars and all, it has been really fascinating. to know that AI can actually make it all possible. And before we end this talk show, I really want to ask you this really last question. So I would also like to
Sure,
say to
sure.
our audience that Smaran is the person who is currently working on revamping Pranali. Is working at the front end of changing the user interface of Pranali and overall the user experience of Pranali, right? So I had this very
Yes,
last
yes.
question for you, which and that is, what if Pranali was a humanoid robot? How would it be?
Wow. So firstly, addressing the main things first, you want the presidents and the pressing the issues that they are facing right now wouldn't be there.
Yeah,
And you know, to make it very simple, just like how Iron Man had Jarvis with himself.
yeah,
You just have to say, make a report, and it will make it a report. It will be always there with you, so it will be witnessing all your projects, and with
yeah,
just a snap like that, your reports get ready as well as submitted automatically. So it
damn.
would have been great if we had something like that, and we can just then play around and do some experiments, and we could,
Yeah,
like, yeah, just make out of this, do these changes, and make it more efficient and blah blah blah. And it would have been really fun,
yeah,
and it would have been really something that was very efficient, and a productivity boosting kind of a product that we would definitely, if existed, it would have been a great fun, and
yeah.
both ways.
And being a protractor, it's definitely my dream to see Pranali becoming a actual artificial intelligence based humanoid robot in the upcoming future and joining us in all those RID 3142 projects and being part of it and mingling with everyone. Maybe it can also, change its course and ask to be the next DRR. Is that possible, Smaran?
Wow, that is something, maybe, because once it is like, once it has developed itself, then it can reason better than any,
Yeah, maybe.
any, yeah, any competing possible,
Yeah.
DRR. And it may ask, but again, this is like we are very far into that, so not
Okay,
anytime
so
soon.
still maybe to all the
Yes,
upcoming road tractors, you have a very tough competition in front of you for the district road track representative, I guess. And
definitely.
to
If it happened, definitely.
and okay, Smaran, I guess we had a very small time to had this interaction, and I actually feel very low to leave you at this point, but we have to end it somewhere. So thank you for joining us and Asif Birla at this podcast, first of all. And of course, you have been awesome throughout this podcast. And I've been a personal new fan of you. The way you talk about AI and everything, it actually sounds like maybe you have a very good things coming up in Pranali in the next future. That's what I'm hoping from your end because you have impressed me a lot.
Yeah.
And I hope that it's not just me. You have created many fans through this podcast. So we feel glad to host you. And we hope that in many more podcasts relating to AI, you are the first person that's coming here again. So thank you. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
part of this podcast. And
Thank you so
we'll
much.
take your leave
Thank
here.
you so much, brother. Yeah, thank you so much,
Yeah.
and thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
some glitches from my end, which usually happens to tech guys. All tech guys face it. So yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Can't deny that. So apologizing for that. But again, it was a great
No,
time talking to
no,
you guys,
that's okay.
and
Yeah.
thank you
Yeah.
so much for having me.
Yeah. Definitely, guys. If you still have any questions, we have Smaran's ID on Instagram. You can maybe tag him with on your stories, and he can maybe try and take his time out to reply you all. Don't DM him. Just you can tag him
Definitely.
on your stories and mention him everywhere with your questions. Thank you, Smaran.
Thank you. Thank you. Having fun. Thank you.
As I said it again, AI is really scary, dude. We don't know what it has for us in this future. And I'm with this conversation. I hope you guys alongside with me are as excited to see what AI has for us in this future. And let's just hope for the best that in this war of humans and AI, we just hope that let the humans win this war. And as we have ended with this talk show, I would also like to say thank you to each and every audience out there for being very good part of, and responding very well throughout this campaign. So thank you everyone for being part of this campaign. And still, as we end this podcast, this is the last request which I have for you. If you guys have any questions regarding artificial intelligence or anything regarding this campaign, you guys can tag us. You can use our hashtag #IORAI and mention @RC Birla's Instagram page on your stories. You can share it on your stories. You can use Twitter handles, Facebook. We are available everywhere. Just don't forget to tag RC Birla and mention the hashtag #IORAI. Thank you guys. Thank you for being part of this podcast. Thank you. Bye. Bye.